Hi there, good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Those of you viewing on the National Television Network, those of you following us via the social media channels of the Government of St. Lucia, those of you in studio with us this morning, thank you so much, and welcome to the media launch for the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers 2024. We're here for yet another year, such an exciting event on St. Lucia's calendar of activities, and of course we're going to be getting all the details that you need to know about the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers 2024. Just a few insights into the event. We know that the event was established in 1986 and it has been happening since. We see our participants traveling some 2,700 nautical miles from Las Palmas to St. Lucia, and annually we do see over 1,000 participants, over 200 vessels annually. But I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Give me the opportunity to recognize the partners who do make this possible. Of course, we do have agencies such as the Ministry of Tourism, as well as SLTA, Events Company of St. Lucia, the World Cruising Club, IGY Rodney Bay Marina, among the stakeholders who make this possible. And of course, we can't forget our sponsors who are also here with us today as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have panelists, and they are the movers and shakers who will be giving you all the information that you need to know when it comes to ARC 2024. And currently joining me on the panel, we have Ms. Peter Kozia, who is the events manager for the World Cruising Club. Always a pleasure to have a discussion with you.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And of course, we also have Ms. Laureen Sidoni, who is the CEO of the Events Company of St. Lucia. Ms. Sidoni, always a pleasure as well.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And of course, Sean DeVoe, who is the managing director of the IGY Rodney Bay Marina, and they're also very instrumental in ensuring that ARC takes place flawlessly here in St. Lucia. Sean, welcome.
Thank you very much for having us. Pleasure.
It's such a pleasure to have this conversation, and we've been doing it for a number of years, and year after year it's always something fresh and exciting for the participants of the ARC. But not just that, we also have the events and the activities that our locals can get involved in as well, and that's always a pleasure. So let's delve into this morning's discussion so we can get all the highlights and all the information that we need to know when it comes to ARC. And Peter, we're going to start with you. Of course, like we've mentioned, this has become a staple on St. Lucia's national calendar.
Absolutely.
It's something to look forward to, and this year we're getting set for our first arrivals in the first week of December.
Yes. Yes,
Indeed. Indeed. Let's talk about what makes ARC unique in the global sailing calendar. Let's talk about that. What makes this event unique?
There are plenty of races and rallies globally, but what makes ARC stand out is that it is for the fun and adventure of it. We want our participants to enjoy themselves thoroughly. It's not a heavy competition. We do have a racing division, but what we want is for people, the participants, to be the adventurers that they are, to enjoy their bucket list wish of crossing the Atlantic Ocean, and then of course ending it right here in St. Lucia, which just is a culmination of anybody's dream adventure to come down to the Caribbean.
Indeed, and like I mentioned earlier, it's been happening for a number of years, established in 1986, which is neat. Let's talk about how this event has evolved over the years. How have we seen the evolution?
Well, it was a small, intimate group of boats when they first started, more or less just word of mouth getting through here. And of course, we've grown into a very large, complex grouping of yachts that have come through. We have waiting lists up to 3 years to get onto the ARC, sometimes longer. We have now, it's evolved into that we're utilizing more multi-hulls. So before we could get up to 200 boats, but the multi-hulls now take up the spacing of 2 monohulls. So for Las Palmas to start, hence we have 140 boats, but just as many participants and crew going through, bigger boats, faster times. It's evolved into something that is world known, and yes, everybody wants to get on it.
Indeed. Now, that prompts me to ask you, Sean. I know that IGY Rodney Bay Marina is instrumental in ensuring the successful boothing of these vessels when they arrive here in St. Lucia. Can we talk about your exact role in hosting those vessels and what that entails?
Well, I mean, as I've said before, you know, IGY is very proud to be the gateway to accept these participants through the Ministry of Tourism, Events Company, Tourism Authority, World Cruising Club. And really and truly, if you think of the marina geographically, I mean, there is a bit of a gateway, but that's just the entrance, and that's where the fun and everything else starts. So for us at the marina, it does take, you know, some work behind it. Obviously, like this morning, Peter and I were discussing, we had the list of boats, and the plan is over the next 2 days to literally physically walk the dock and say, okay, we're going to put this boat here, that boat there, because it all depends on the length of the boat. It all depends on the power requirements of the boat. So from that physical aspect of just doing that, you know, that's one aspect of it. But then there's also the other aspect of, okay, once those boats are there, what can we do? What can we offer? How do we make that entry into St. Lucia seamless? And one of the ways, you know, which it's taken a while, but it's just to work with example for a lot of the suppliers of St. Lucia. A lot of the marina over the years has developed into a facility that can support a vessel all year round. So whether it be the mechanical, the technical, the sail repairs, the chandlery, you know, some of the tenants that we've brought in is to support that yacht all year round. And so really and truly, we're just really happy, we're really proud. You know, obviously for us, it's a new group every year. Yeah, I mean, some boats have done it for 13 years and stuff like that, but for most people crossing that finish line, it's a new start to their life, whether it be their retirement plan or whatever else. And for us, it's meeting those new people, it's hearing the stories. Yes, on an umbrella level, it's the Ark, but each and every one of those participants, as Lorraine and the whole team will tell you, there's a story different to the one last year, how they joined, why they joined, and that's what we're just so proud to be part of in facilitating them, to make St. Lucia, make them feel at home, so that long term they can choose St. Lucia as their returning sailing grounds and keep that client here for 15, 14, 16 years in some instances as we have today.
Indeed. I mean, you've touched on it, but can we highlight some of the innovations that you had to undertake at the IGY Rodney Bay Marina? Maybe not just this year, but throughout the participation of the Ark, to ensure that, you know, you keep on ensuring that not just the IGY Rodney Bay Marina, but St. Lucia is a welcoming place for the participants of the Ark.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it innovations, but more partnerships, and just, you know, getting St. Lucia in general and everybody to understand that the Ark is not just about Rodney Bay Marina. Because yes, they'll cross the finish line 5 days later, they want to go out and see St. Lucia. And what can we do as a facility to make that transition easy? And it goes as simple things as, you know, discussing with hotels and stuff like that to do a partnership on maybe their gym, or anything that the marina may not have. How can we supplement that with other suppliers and providers? And then it could go all the way to suppliers and provisioners of food and beverage and everything else, partnering with the marina so that, you know, when the client goes to, say, Massey Stores, for example, they don't have to necessarily pay Massey at the time. We can put it on the client's invoice and then pay Massey, you know, 2 weeks down the road. So it just creates that seamless transition. And I think over the years, what we have seen, obviously didn't happen overnight, and it's, again, support of everybody else, but over the years, that is what we have seen be the most fruitful for St. Lucia in terms of people always say, oh, I've come to Rodney Bay Marina, I've gone to Marigo, and, you know, they make me feel like family. And for me, that is a successful story, because that means they're probably 9 times out of 10 going to come back to St. Lucia because we are their family.
Indeed, and I love how you included the community involvement here, which is a huge aspect of the Ark. And Mrs. Zidani, that is one of the things that I definitely want to discuss with you. But just before we touch that point, ECSL is a lead organizer for the Ark events, and this year the theme is such a fitting one. champions of the seas, a sea of champions. And that is so fitting because, you know, even given St. Lucia's own victories and recognizing our champions, it's nice to see that, you know, the participants taking on that daring journey themselves are being recognized as the champions as they are as well. But ECSL, can we talk about, from your perspective, the events that we organized this year to ensure that the ARC experience is what is expected or even surpasses it this year?
Yes, so specifically for the ARC, we do have a number of events that are planned. And let me just touch on jazz a bit, and I'll let you know why I'm doing that. Because when we launched the jazz, we had a local campaign called Beyond the Stage, or Benefits Beyond the Stage. And almost thinking that Maneva, if she's hearing me, we should extend that to benefits beyond the boat, because the events that we're planning, yes, for ARC participants, but it also ripples through the economy. So we have the locals that are also involved. I mean, persons may not necessarily know that the ARC boats arrive in St. Lucia at any hour. I mean, they can come 2 in the morning, 1 midnight. So we actually have a 24-hour shift of dock attendants, all St. Lucians, working at the marina, ready to welcome the ARC participants, the vessels, when they arrive. Upon arrival, each vessel is presented with a locally made welcome basket filled with local produce. So it ripples throughout the economy. We have a welcome party, and of course, for any event for the ARC participants, the prize given, the welcome, the ancillary fish fry tour, locals are involved to provide goods and services for the ARC participants. So it's a ARC event, yes, but with a lot of benefits beyond the boats. Benefits that go throughout the economy, so that service providers, caterers, decor operators, photographers, videographers, they're all employed and they're all benefiting from the ARC that is coming to St. Lucia every year.
Wonderful, thank you. And we definitely are going to be talking to you a little more about the community events for sure. But Sean, I want to get a little bit more insight from in terms of your participation and of course your readiness for the ARC to be here in St. Lucia. The ARC participants rely on the IGY Rodney Bay Marina, like you mentioned, for rest, for resupply after their long voyage. How do you ensure that their needs are met efficiently?
So, no two ARCs are alike. That's for sure. You know, just because sometimes you will get in a fast ARC, if you want to think about it, because the winds are very good, and sometimes in a period of 3 days you might get 90 boats arriving on your doorstep. Obviously that entries like that are challenging. Other times you might get a slower ARC where they're all kind of stretched out a bit and they kind of manage themselves. So from our point of view, it's, you know, the nice thing about it is a lot of our clients that are in the marina at some point either did the ARC or know about the ARC. And so they're very well versed about the ARC. And so they know that in December, you know, we may come around and knock on the boat and say, excuse me, would you mind, you know, vacating your space for a little while? And we do discounts for them and stuff like that to try and create the space. Creating the space is obviously the main function. But then no, once they're in, as I said earlier on, you know, it's that same welcome basket has a whole list of provisioners in terms of services that are required. All of them, you know, again, local entrepreneurs that can provide the boats. We, as a team, as an IGM in collaboration with Events Company, do a training course so that they can ask these questions on the dock, as well as the yellow shirts from World Cruising Club. So, you know, we know as much as we can put as much as we want in the welcome basket, but they're tired, they're happy to cross, they're not going to read it. And 9 times out of 10, you know, the support that is given to the boats is personal touch. So whether I'm on the dock or yellow shirts or Events Company, having that conversation, meeting them at the events and somebody telling you, well, you know, I need to get this done and that, and no problem, here's the numbers. And that's really what we focus on. Once they've arrived, it's to provide the support to them because they're in a new land and we understand that challenge for them. So we try to make it as easy as possible.
And thank you so much for that, Sean. And I love how you said that no two ARC participants are alike, because it gives us insight into the characters and even the stories that come from the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers. Peter, the ARC, like we know, it represents over 30 countries and a variety of sailing backgrounds as well. Can you highlight for us, how does the World Cruising Club ensure that these events are inclusive and welcoming for all?
Starting with Cruising Club with the beginning in Las Palmas, when we have to get everyone ready and they're excited, and safety aspects of getting them to come across, sail across safely to St. Lucia. We have a wonderful partnership with St. Lucia Tourist Authority, Events Company of St. Lucia, IGY Marina, Ministry of Tourism, and from there we set up a committee to make sure that we have our calendar of events set up especially to ensure that everyone enjoys themselves, whether it is children or the adults or just having to enjoy the island itself. They're adventurers. They've come to see everything St. Lucia has to offer. So they're not going to stay put. They're not going to just sit back and wait for us to give it, but we will create with our partners some incredible events for them to go to every day, every evening.
Nice. Thank you so much for that, Peter. Of course, we know that we've already seen the send-off from Las Palmas, St. Lucia, that took place on November 24th. That is last Sunday. And we want to give you the opportunity to witness the highlight of that. So let's head over to a highlight video.
Yeah.
Welcome back, and if you are just joining us, you are viewing the media launch of the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers 2024. We are talking to stakeholders who have all the information that you need to know to ensure that you don't miss out on any of the great activities happening for the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers as they set to arrive in St. Lucia during the first week of December. It is quite an exciting event this year, happening under the theme Sea of Champions. We have been having a conversation, of course, with Ms. Peter Kozia of World Cruising Club. Also joining us on the panel is Mrs. Lorraine Sidoni, who is the CEO of Events Company of St. Lucia, and currently joining us is Mr. Dexter Vasil, who is the head of marketing at the St. Lucia Tourism Authority. Dexter, thank you so much for joining the conversation. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
Nice, and it's so good to have you here. We know that SLTA is a key stakeholder when it comes to putting on the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers, and we've been talking about all the countries involved in the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers. We've been talking about the send-off, and I know that you guys have been were on the ground when it came to the send-off from Las Palmas. So we will be getting quite a few of those details from you as well. Let's start with talking about how ARC contributes to promoting St. Lucia as a top sailing destination.
Yeah, part of what we do, a part of our mandate at the St. Lucia Tourism Authority is visitor arrival into the destination. So it's very important that our adventure tourism, that we continue to support and market that activity throughout the world in ensuring that patrons or adventurers can come to St. Lucia. We did have a team over in Las Palmas to really did a presentation on St. Lucia. So we really sell St. Lucia even before they get to come to the destination, because it's important that from a planning point of view, we get to sell the destination, be it our culinary, be it our adventure. And having been on the ocean for such a long time, when you come down, you want to relax, you want to enjoy a cold pita, you want to enjoy a cold Chairman's. So we want to make sure that we set the tone over in Las Palmas so that when they do come to St. Lucia, the environment is a welcoming one. And I must say that St. Lucians, we are known for our hospitality, our warmth as a people. So I know that Denise and Thomas was over in Las Palmas with the team, and I know they did welcome and create that environment, create that vibes, that St. Lucian vibes for the participants. And we are looking forward to welcoming them in St. Lucia also.
Indeed. You know, just piggybacking on that, Mrs. Sidoni, let's talk about some of the rewards in organizing events to the scale that the ARC, just speaking to Mr. Purcell and listening to him highlights all the little things that, the big things about St. Lucia that these participants can enjoy. Let's talk about the rewards when it comes to organizing an event such as ARC.
Sure, okay. So participants would have traveled, I think Peter said it, 2,700 nautical miles, so you said it. And that takes an average of, I think it's 12 to 14 days on average. So it's quite I mean, it's isolation on the sea. So you're looking forward to hitting land. You come to St. Lucia, we don't disappoint. We welcome you. I mentioned the welcome basket, but there are lots of activities planned every single day. I mean, the highlights would be the welcome party. We have a small ceremony for the first boat to arrive, a bigger welcome ceremony for most of the vessels when get to St. Lucia. We have the prize given, that's like the culmination. And we have lots of things in between. The one aspect or the one event that I want to highlight, because it's so infiltrates the local community, is the ancillary fish fry. So we brought that back onto the calendar last year, and we invite our participants to go down by boat to ancillary. And then there's a fish fry, well, I guess a fish fry Sunday that's happening because it happens on a Sunday. And it's a sort of win-win, because the ARC participants absolutely love it. They get to go into a community, they get to experience authentic St. Lucian culture and cuisine. And of course, the ancillary community, they obviously enjoy it as well, the economic benefits. The participants patronize the various bars and the booths, etc. So that is one activity that we're extremely proud of, because it creates such a good balance, such a good win-win in terms of the ARC participants benefiting as well as the local community.
Indeed, I had the opportunity to be a part of that event last year, and I had to say I thoroughly enjoyed it. And not only that, but you could see how much the participants of the ARC enjoyed it as well. One of the things that I think is noteworthy is the integration with the Community Tourism Agency, and the fact that they were able to be an integral part of that as well. And that shows how our agencies really could work together to ensure that their mandates are met.
Very much so.
Yes, yes. Peter, let's talk about the feedback from the participants, and that's in previous editions, and how that has helped in shaping this year's events and improving on the experience in future years as well.
Okay, so we do, I think both all of the agencies in the partnership, we put out our surveys when they arrive here as well as when they're in Las Palmas and after they've completed the ARC, so that we can make sure we can meet all the changes or the wants that the participants and the family boats and the different people want to do in Lucia and throughout their stay here as well. So we listen to everything that they have to say. We go through hundreds and hundreds of surveys for them to advise us what they enjoyed, what they didn't enjoy. There's very little that they don't enjoy when they get to St. Lucia, which is the best part of it. You know, they always wish to experience everything that is St. Lucia, from the simplest thing of walking across to Pigeon Island to explore that and the fort, and going throughout the island to do the Cabo Whales, to go down to Soufriere and Labri and Choiseul and taste St. Lucia, whether it's cuisine or it's the partying, it's the people. That's what they're going for. So the more we can get information from them about that, the better it is for everyone.
Oh, wonderful. And now that we've established that the participants are really enjoying a real, authentic St. Lucian experience when they get here, Mr. Purcell, let's talk about the strategies that the SLTA are employing to leverage the global visibility, because we know it's over 30 countries participating in the ARC, and it happens annually. Let's talk about the strategies that you're employing to ensure that we're making yes, we're taking every bit of it that we can.
No, it's important that we continue to create on island experiences, and the community tourism is a huge part of that. So it's important for us as a destination that St. Lucia, whatever we do from a marketing point of view, whether our visitors or participants come to the destination, they can get to experience St. Lucia. So from the economy point of view, we are driving the economy down to the people so that they are participants of the sector and they are beneficiary of the sector. From a marketing point of view, we are bringing in a number of media to cover the entire ARC experience, so we can amplify that message outwardly. It's important that for this forum that we are doing this, that we can involve and update the local or people within the region in terms of what we are doing as all these organizations come together for us to plan the ARC. Our social media is buzzing. We are capturing all the moments. On Sunday we had the flotilla, which commemorates the commencement of the ARC. And we have been doing a lot in that sphere for our PR team in writing and engaging all our travel agents, our tour operators, in letting them know what is happening in St. Lucia. The ARC is on our calendar, and every year we put out the calendar. It's big and bold. End of November into December, St. Lucia ARC is on the calendar. So we are doing everything that is possible within the marketing landscape to ensure that we amplify the message, sell St. Lucia, and continue to promote St. Lucia as one of our premium destination for the maritime sector.
Nice, thank you so much for that, Mr. Purcell. And we know that SLTA was on the ground in Las Palmas when it came to the boats leaving Las Palmas to head here to St. Lucia. And we do want to give you the opportunity to take in that video as well. Thank you once again for joining us. It is the media launch of the Atlantic Rally for Cruise, and so we are talking to the movers and shakers when it comes to preparation for the ARC per 2024 happening under the theme Sea of Champions. Again, we want to have a big thank you to Mr. Dexter Purcell, who has given us insight from the perspective of the SLTA, as well as Sean DeVoe, who has spoken to us on the perspective of the IGY Rodney B. Marina. And now we are joining our panel from the Ministry of Tourism. She is the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Anne Margaret Adams. Mrs. Adams, thank you so much for being here with us. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well, thank you.
Nice. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. And we know when it comes to the stakeholders for the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers year after year, we see them showing up, and not only the stakeholders in terms of the organizers, but the sponsors as well. We know from doing this, we've seen quite a number of sponsors who've remained staples, and we will be highlighting our sponsors a little later on. But let's talk about in terms of the organizing committee and ensuring that the ministry fosters partnership to ensure the success of the ARC. Let's talk about the role that the ministry plays in that aspect.
Thank you very much for that opportunity. And first of all, I'd like to indicate that it's a pleasure for us to be here at this 35th hosting of the event. Certainly, the ARC has become a staple, a cornerstone of our events, and it's a very important aspect culturally, economically. And critical to that is the whole idea of partnerships. We can't do it without solely, it's a partnership approach. And the ministry is very, very a key facilitator in ensuring that the partnerships that are necessary to making this event happen, it takes place. I think we spoke about it, the panel mentioned it as well. I think the whole presence of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, Events Company, World Cruising Club, it's testimony to the need for us to ensure that partnerships, they are strengthened, it exists. And so we work very closely with those organizers to ensure that we meet and of course we exceed the expectations of our participants who visit our shores to experience St. Lucia as a destination.
Nice. And how do you think the ARC aligns, or can you share with us rather, how ARC aligns to St. Lucia's broader tourism goals? There's a perfect alignment, I should say. St. Lucia has been known as an adventure destination. From the government's perspective, it really ensuring that St. Lucia maintains or is positioned as a destination of choice, sustainable development, and of course, maritime tourism. And we see maritime tourism and of course the hosting of events like the ARC as really diversifying our product and ensuring that visitors, that this niche market is very critical success of our aspect of our tourism product. And so there's perfect alignment, and of course sustainability, and of course diversifying our product and ensuring that persons come in to really experience St. Lucia as a destination. And so this is really what it is about. And thank you for that insight. Mrs. Sudani, I know earlier we talked about the rewards of hosting ARC in St. Lucia, yes. And we know that there are no rewards without challenges. So let's talk about some of the challenges that you guys face. What is the organization of the ARC?
We need to get it perfect. So I think any challenge actually stems from within and the need for perfection. There are many stakeholders involved. We've mentioned it. Ministry of Tourism, Investment, Creative Industries, Culture and Information, World Cruising Club, IGY Rodney Bay, St. Lucia Tourism Authority. And once you have many stakeholders all aiming for perfection, then there are going to be challenges, but challenges that drive the product, challenges that allow us to aim for a good finishing product so that our participants enjoy St. Lucia, recommend St. Lucia, and return to St. Lucia. So the challenges are really in a quest, a thrust for making the product as good as possible, dealing with various stakeholders. Yes, a good challenge, because we all want the same thing and we're all fighting for the same level of excellence. Good challenges.
Indeed. And Peter, I'd like to hear from you in terms of that aspect as well when it comes to the World Cruising Club, because we know and we've heard it, all the benefits that the ARC brings to St. Lucia, and of course the participants get to enjoy when they arrive here in St. Lucia. But crossing 2,700 nautical miles, I can imagine that there are limitations when it comes to that. Can we talk about some of those limitations that you guys face?
Well, as the participants face, yes, because they're crossing an ocean. This is something probably 99% of the globe has not even considered. They're on a moving vessel, and like anybody who's been sailing on a yacht, if things can go wrong, they will go wrong. Whether it's freakish weather, or right now they are sailing on very gentle winds, 7 knots, 4 knots, 5 knots, so it can get quiet. I know the frustration with my partners when we look at and we realize they're not coming in as fast as they should be. But on a whole, it is, although it's a bucket list, it is also dangerous. You're crossing an ocean. It's vast. Everything from whales that you could hit a whale, or a whale can hit you. The weather can go off on a spur of the moment turn. You have engine failures, you have ripped sails, you have rudders that have problems, and so there is always challenges, and that's why the welcome into St. Lucia, the way St. Lucia welcomes our boats in, is so essential and important, because they are thrilled to have crossed the ocean, but they're even happier to be here in St. Lucia. And that's where the St. Lucian warmth comes through. Because then, of course, as soon as they get there, they have to try and repair damages that have happened and fix their boats to get ready to sail again around the Caribbean, but they always come back to St. Lucia. That's the beauty about it. They don't have to be Ark anymore, but they will always return to St. Lucia.
And that's one of the things that we absolutely love about it, indeed. And you did mention earlier that some people don't even think about it. I think if some of us think about it, that's why it stops, That's why it stops.
Absolutely.
Mr. Sidani, earlier we spoke about community impact, and you highlighted that one of the key activities that took place last year, and really we saw the impact within the community on several levels as well, was that of the ancillary event, and we did also note that the Community Tourism Agency was integral in that. Let's talk about, let's focus a little more about the community impact and how we intend to see that continue as our progresses the St. Lucian landscape.
Okay. Ancillary, a resounding success. I mean, if it were up to us, I think we would have different communities and sort of mirror that event, but obviously they're here for a limited time and it's only so much we can do. I have to be honest, last year we tried an event, and again to incorporate more community participation. We had the expo, and this was held just opposite to the marina. Wasn't a great success. So we're back to the drawing board. We're not having it this year. We're thinking of maybe the following years, what more we can do to create more community involvement. A lot of the service providers are from communities. The person doing the welcome baskets, the one actually weaving the baskets, is from one of our communities. Many of our bartenders, the community impact is rippled throughout the economy. There are more things we can do, but time is really, limited, and we have so many things planned. Apart from the things that are planned and are part of what we call the calendar of events for ARC, and Dexter would have spoken about it from a SLTA perspective, the participants also on their own experience the community. They go to the Gros Islet Friday night. I mean, it's not an ARC event per se. They do the Cabaway Crawl. They do a lot of the tours that are available to any person visiting Lucia. So the communities are involved from, yes, the organizing point of view. The organizers have incorporated the communities, but the participants themselves are free to experience all of St. Lucia, and they do. So we're happy that the communities are extremely involved in ARC.
One of the things I love about the activities held by the ARC, and particularly, again, focusing on that event that's going to be represented in the community of Ansari, is that we saw, I think, the local experience, but it was also elevated. So the atmosphere was elevated, and we got a little bit of our culture infused through the food, through the entertainment. And I thought that it was really carefully thought about, and I have to say kudos to you in terms of that. What are we doing to ensure that that experience stays the same this year?
We're going to ensure it stays the same.
As simple as that.
As simple as that. I mean, and you touched on the entertainment. That is key, because at the official events, the welcome ceremony, the prize giving, we have the steel band, the steel orchestra. That's part of the entertainment. We have local dancers. We have the fire. Are they fire breathers or fire eaters?
Breathers.
Yeah, they breathers or
Breathers.
they eaters?
I would say breathers.
Yes. So we have the fire breathers as well. They're part of it. So lots of local input, entertainment, food-wise, drink-wise. It's all an immersive experience for the participants.
Thank you so much for that. Just in case you missed that immersive experience last year, we do want to give you just a bit of a highlight with this video. So we're hoping that's a little bit of encouragement to ensure that you don't miss this year's event happening in the community of Ancillary as part of the ARC calendar. We are, of course, having a discussion currently with Peter Kozia, who is part of the World Cruising Club, representative of the World Cruising Club. Also here with us is CEO of Events Company of St. Lucia, Mrs. Lorraine C. Donny, as well as Margaret Adams, who is the DPS within the Ministry of Tourism. Mrs. Adams, let's talk a little bit about policy and zoom in on that. We have discussed and we have established that partnerships within the ARC are mutually beneficial. What are we doing to ensure it remains that way?
Well, I think simply put is prioritizing partnerships. I think that is our approach in terms of tourism development and of course in ensuring that events like the ARC that they flourish, and so we work very closely with the private sector, the public sector, our communities, and other stakeholders in ensuring that events like the ARC, it is successful. Whether it is through facilitating investment in infrastructure with the marina, and of course ensuring, I think mention was made about the seamless experiences, and so these are some of the things that we seek to do in ensuring that the ARC is successful, that we ensure that the participants, that is a seamless experience, and the necessary investment is also made in infrastructure, and of course just basically ensuring that that we have the product that really matches the needs of those persons when they come to the ARC.
And of course, we can also highlight when it comes to the participation of ARC happening in St. Lucia, that it's trickling down into the local economy. We've been talking about CCA's involvement. How do we see this affecting Airbnbs and local businesses in St. Lucia?
Well, certainly they stand to benefit. I want to say that, apart from the ARC being an opportunity to really showcase our culture and, of course, provide that experience to visitors, I think the obvious economic impact is there, and so the opportunities for them, the communities to benefit, persons who have made an investment in the sector to be able to benefit from persons' presence in the ARC, whether it is through accommodation, providing experiences for food, for dining, and so certainly there's an opportunity for persons within the our accommodation sector, the supermarkets, our tours, our taxi drivers, persons who provide those experiences that they benefit. So it is certainly an opportunity for those persons to benefit, and I think the government's policy is definitely ensuring that our locals, that they have a stake in the industry, and so when we have events like the ARC, that they're able to benefit tremendously, so the economic benefit trickles down to the locals.
As I know, when it comes to the Ministry of Tourism, your mandate is to ensure that our level and quality of service remains the same. And I know that there's a lot of work that has been put in when it comes to ensuring that service meets the standards that is St. Lucian, that can be called the excellence St. Lucian. Can you highlight a little bit of what's being done within that arena?
I think, well, more recently, from a policy perspective, we have introduced this new legislation, which is the Tourism Development Act, and it really looks at how the destination, how tourism development is really pursued in St. Lucia, and critical to that is the need for looking at quality and excellence within the industry, apart from the whole of sustainability. And one of the key things that we have, policy drivers within that legislation, is the whole issue of certification, and it really speaks to ensuring that our players, that they offer service that is really in adherence to our standards. And so when persons come on the island, ARC participants, whether you're coming for the ARC or any other event, that our accommodation and all our service providers, that they operate within a specific standard, and service delivery as well as the quality of their product. And so this is a very key policy in our legislation as part of our mandate. And so now that it's been legislated, there is a greater push towards ensuring that our service providers, our players, that they are endorsed and that they are recognized through being certified, to show that, look, that there is that visitors can have that assurance, that confidence that the product that they're experiencing, that the site that they go on, that the taxi that they take, that the accommodation, that they meet a particular standard. And so this is really our key in our role in ensuring that our suppliers, that they meet those standards, so that persons like the ARC participants can enjoy.
Surely, and just highlighting that this legislation is there. It's important, of course, that the public can access it as well, and our SEPT want to ensure that they meet compliance, that they're able to do so. Can you highlight for us the areas or the measures or what's going to be put in place to ensure that they have access to that information?
So it's available. The ministry has a certification unit, which is very instrumental in driving that process. We also have a web portal through which persons can obtain information on certification, also to be able to apply to be certified. We have had some very rigorous consultations with the sector, and so the ministry continues to be open and available to provide persons with information on that regime. We also, as I said, we have persons who do inspections or assessments of the various products to help them. So we want to really emphasize that it is to help them. And so it is a hand-holding process to ensure that everybody is able to meet the standard, not to put you out of business, but to work with you in ensuring that everybody is confident that they meet the standard and that they are all endorsed by the Ministry of Tourism to operate within the sector.
Nice. Thank you so much for that, Mrs. Adams. Mr. Sidoni, I have a bit of a tricky question. I know that when it comes to the ARC, we see a lot of the effort that's being put into it. And again, we've been talking about the quality and the standards to ensuring that the experience really is exceptional when it comes to our participants landing here in St. Lucia. Let's talk about cost then when it comes to the resources involved. Can you highlight or share, give us a picture, paint a picture for us in terms of the costs and resources that are being put into that?
Yes, we obviously have to spend money to make sure that the various events happen. We have to spend money to make sure that we have the human resources to welcome the boats, to prepare the baskets, to do the handovers. So thankfully our ministry, our parent ministry, allows us the funds to put on the events. But more than that is the effect or the benefits that happen because of the investment. For any 1 year, because of ARC, reports have shown that approximately $5 million is spent in the economy from the participants, from the various services that are engaged. So the benefits to the investment, I think, is more of what we want to narrow in on and speak about, because it's a lot of money that is pumped throughout the economy from what the ARC participants spend, from what is pumped through our parent ministry, from World Cruising Club. We have World Cruising Club officials that are coming from next week. Yes, and obviously they need to be accommodated, etc. So I think more than what is spent is the return on the investment that allows the economy to benefit from it.
And I think that's a great opportunity to highlight the importance of our sponsors when it comes to the ARC event, and we can imagine that investment that they're putting in, they're also getting out as well.
Yes, definitely. Right, sponsors?
With that said, we would love to highlight and for you to get the opportunity to see who our sponsors are for ARC 2024.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's with immense pleasure that I get to introduce our sponsors for ARC 2024. Some of them have been with us for very many years, as long as I've been around this, and we're just thrilled to see them return every year. Of course, we do have every now and then a new member to the family, and so for those who are still contemplating, whether they're coming on board or not, we are having those ongoing conversations. But for those of you who are here today, we really are happy to have you. These organizations have stepped forward to help us meet critical needs for the hosting of this world-class event, defraying cost. I know that cost has been spoken of, and the investment as well, and the return on those investments is what we really want to zero in on. And so just having you sponsors on board with us, it does help manage, our cost. You offset some critical needs for us for this event, and you've been doing so for all of our events for that matter. So not just for ARC, but you are a staple to Events Company of St. and our events, portfolio and delivery, and we're happy to have you here. Some of our supporting sponsors who are not here with us, you'd see that their logos were proudly featured in our show reel, would be Big Chef Steakhouse, Flavors of the Grill, and Sea Salt Restaurant and Bar. And what they essentially do, a lot of these sponsors, and we have several of them that come on board every year to provide us with prizes for the ARC participants, and they so look forward to that. These dinners and a lot of product from Barbet distillers. I mean, all of these things go into a large pool of resources that they're happy to receive. So we want to thank our supporting sponsors. But more importantly, today we're here with our main sponsors, and we'd like to call each of you up one by one and give you just a few seconds so you can say a few words if you wish. And we want to thank you again for being here with us. We want to call on Sixth Rent-A-Car. We have a representative here with us from 6th, and they are remarkable. We want to thank Mr. Pinkley Francis especially. Every year, regardless of what's happening, they ensure, yes, you may, absolutely bring the check. We're taking every cent. Right. So from 6th Rent-A-Car, an amazing input here. Of course, when this is all done, we will have an opportunity to do some proper photo ops. So I'm taking that. CEO, we're taking that.
By all means, Monique.
$2,964.18. It doesn't mean that all of you need to match up to that. It's the figure, it's the intent that's important, and we thank you so much for that. They provide us with the vehicles that are used by the World Cruising Club team and other resources as well to help them move about. So you can well imagine how that would offset a critical cost for us. Next on our list is the Wave radio station. They have been hosting Chart the Arc now for what? 12 years almost? Just about. And it's an amazing event.
What's inside?
Big in heart. So the
What's
value
inside?
that they bring to the table is not just the Chart the Arc event. We're also this year hosting with them Arc Radio, which is a 1 to 2 p.m. event and radio program that will be kicking off, actually kicked off from today and all the way into Arc. So if you tune into the Wave between 1 and 2, we get to meet our sponsors. But more than that, we also get to engage a lot of our ARC participants en route to St. Lucia. So there's a lot that's happening there, and we're looking forward to working with the Wave. And the Wave has been essentially our official ARC station. So Marcy, on behalf of Event St. Lucia, the rest of the partners, thank you so much. We will take your check. We have as well on our list Sol EC Limited, an energetic crew. They fuel us well. That's as much as I can say in every single way. Our creativity, you know, and we want to thank, not the blank side, my dear, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I actually thought it was a blanket.
$15,000 they're on board, and they would well our marine units, but also our vehicles, the very vehicles we get from 6. So there's that interchange of support that we get, and we want to thank you, and of course Mrs. Edward and the rest of the Sol EC team. Thank you. Give me the check.
Thank you.
Cassie right here, my trusty assistant, will take care of that. We have as well Flo, remarkable partner with us, Die Hard, and we have Francesca here with us today. Thank you very much, Franny. Do I get to say how much is in here?
No, we're not saying how much is in there, but we know
The value of it.
the value of the connectivity is very important. So we're happy to connect you with that.
Thank you very much. And our internet is up and running at the Rodney Bay Marina, and we will stay connected. Massey Stores, somewhat new to the family, I think, but consistent. 2 years now, 3 years now? 3 now. So thank you so much, Massey, for being on board with us. So a lot of valuable support coming from Massey, and we're seeing as well that our participants particularly interested in a lot of your services, including the curbside delivery. So they used that last year, and that was very valuable. There were discounts provided to the ARC participants so they could order from their vessels but have everything delivered to them. So that is a remarkable service. We thank you very much, and we're taking your 7. Certainly, we welcome this sponsor every time. And we know how the ARC participants look forward to their rum punch. And,
Every time.
You know, we cannot do it without. If we're going to do nothing at all, we must have St. Lucia Distillers and their chairmans. And we throw in some bounty as well. You know, so. But thank you so much, Terry, for being here. On behalf of the why so it's not in here?
No, you're right.
Clary Sidebar.
Yeah.
Yeah? Thank you for being with us.
Wow.
And just so you know, every ARC participant in their baskets would receive a bottle of Chairman's. So we're happy to have that. We start them off on a high, is what we do. As if being 2,700 nautical miles across the ocean is not high enough, you know.
It isn't.
I don't think St. Lucia
Highland.
Electricity Services is here. They are.
Yes, they're there. They're very there.
Bernardia,
They're very there.
my dear friend Bernardia Rages, Blue Select is here. Some remarkable supporter, because the infrastructure that we need is very critical, and we need to be powered. Everything that we do needs to be powered, and with Blue Select, it's the power of caring. So we're happy.
and connect.
And they power and connect.
And
They
praise.
power and connect. Thank you. So you team up very nicely with Flo there.
Indeed.
You know, and that is a critical resource and
connect
also a
and
very
flow.
expensive one when we talk about lighting and ensuring that the venues that we use are safe, you know, and persons can navigate, you know, freely and enjoy themselves. So thank you for that, Lucilec. Caribbean Events and Services Limited, do we have here today? Just so you know, Caribbean Events and Services Limited, they're a very, very valuable partner. They provide event infrastructure like tenting, stage, trussing, and so on. And so they've been very, very helpful over the last few events that we've had to provide us with some significant discounts, because that kind of infrastructure is heavily used for our events. So we want to thank them for that. Then we have Mercury Marine, St. Lucia, and Yanmar, sisters to Sixth Rent-A-Car. So we want to welcome them back. So kind of double barreling, or is it a triple? We get 6 and 7. How much is that? 13. We'll take it all. Thank you so much. And again, very valuable support from our sponsors. But as my CEO would have mentioned, it's the ROI, it's the return on that investment. What we see happen within the communities, the far-reaching impact that ARC continues to have, that it has had for 35 years and continues to have. And for that, we're very, very grateful to you, our sponsors, because certainly without your support, this would be so much harder to do. We may get it done, but not to the level of perfection that we aspire to. So thank you all for that, and I would be happy to just see that reel one more time. So let's roll that. Our sponsors reel, thanks. There we go. And of course, I have to say a big thank you to Minisva Ross, who is branding and communications lead for the events company of St. Lucia, who facilitated quite nicely the check handover ceremony. And of course, I need to also put a plug and say thank you to our sponsors of our lovely set here today, our friends from COTS. Thank you so much for that. And sponsoring the Atlantic for Cruises, we do appreciate your support as well. So we've come to the point where we share our final thoughts, and of course there are a few things that I would love to touch on with you, my lovely panel. Starting with you, Bisa. I think year after year, one of the things that's always intriguing is to get insight into the youth engagement when it comes to ARC. We know that in the past we've seen families come across with children as from a very tender age, and when we see some teens participating as well. What is that looking like this year?
We have 17 children on 8 family boats, representing, I believe, 11 different nationalities as well. So and that's below the age of 16. And we don't have too young. We don't have baby sister here, but we do have some young enough toddlers, 3 or 4 year olds. Yes, we've had some very young children before, babies that have come through there, only known that they are schooled on board and they get to experience an extremely fantastic adventure that most other children don't have. So they're always very open and very eager to see whatever it is and to experience whatever St. Lucia has to offer.
And I think it's always great because it speaks to continuity of the ARC and participation
Absolutely.
of the ARC and encouragement of the young people. So I'm really happy to hear that we do have 17 this year.
Yes.
And hopefully next year we'll see a little more.
It depends on that. I mean, it's some days we have more, some years, and other years we have very few children, depending on who's signed up for it. But on a whole, yes,
Indeed.
we always cater for children too.
At this point, Peter, I would love to give you the opportunity to share final thoughts. Anything I may not have asked, or key points that you think it's necessary for us to remember and keep in mind.
I think representing World Cruising Club, I'd like to thank our partners for the effort, the time, the work that is put into getting to our calendar of events, getting prepped, RUI Marina, customs, immigration, all the people that get involved in St. Lucia for making it a first world class experience for all of our participants coming through, for St. Lucians themselves, and for the warm welcome that we always receive, our participants always receive. There is a synergy between the ARC and St. Lucia that works so well. St. Lucia being the end result of having struggled through crossing that ocean, and they have the most magnificent gem, the Helen of the West Indies, and the warmth of the people to greet them when they get to the end of their journey. And for that, we can only say thank you so much for the effort that's put through for us.
Indeed, Peter Cozier, World Cruising Club, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
insight
very
here
much.
today. Mrs. Sidoni, I'd like to also for you to highlight and emphasize, we've talked about it so much, but I don't think we can touch on it enough. St. Lucia's commitment to the ARC, the economic impact, the cultural impact, through all the work that ECSL does. Can you just highlight and encourage, of course, participation?
Definitely, I think we've said it over and over that ARC is not just an event that is confined to the marina, to Rodney Bay, but it filters throughout. Peter said it well, and I want to just continue in that spirit of gratitude, because it takes a lot of partnership and input for the ARC to happen. I really do want to thank the sponsors. I know Maneva did a good job doing so, but thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for supporting. I want to thank our partners. We have various agencies that pull this off, and you mentioned customs and immigration, and we could go on because, you know, it's quite an accomplishment. So I do want to encourage persons to participate. Benefits beyond the boats. We have lots of activities that trickle through the economy, and we're happy about that, and we want to encourage participation. And I do say once again, thank you to everyone.
Lovely, thank you. DPS Adams would love if you could, of course, endorse the activities for the ARC 2024, encourage St. Lucian participation, the participation of our locals as well. And if there are any final thoughts from the perspective of the ministry that you'd like to share with us as well.
Well, first of all, the ministry would like to acknowledge the outstanding partnership. I think partnership is key between World Cruising Club, Events St. Lucia, St. Lucia Tourism Authority, the private sector, IGY, and of course making this event successful, because we recognize that without the partnerships we certainly would not have ARC at the level as it is today. And so we certainly want to acknowledge the outstanding collaboration among those entities. To the participants, we certainly want to welcome them, wish them the best on the journey, and of course welcome them as they come to celebrate the camaraderie of St. Lucia, you know, the warmth of our people, and of course to our locals. I think it is intimated here for them to be welcoming, of course, and to really showcase what St. Lucia is all about. From the ministry standpoint, we're doing pretty much to ensure that we have a product that really is out there for persons to really enjoy, you know, through whether it is through the tours, whether it is through, you know, the experience on the community, working with our agencies. And so we certainly want to just wish persons the best, and of course to really thank our sponsors, thank the communities, thank our partners for becoming involved in such an important and auspicious event. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, DPS Adams, and let me extend that thanks to all our panelists here today. You provided us with such an awesome insight to ensure that we do not miss the ARC activities, and if we do, we need to blame ourselves, definitely. Definitely, we want to, of course, say huge thank you to our sponsors here with us today, and those of you who are not here as well, we want to say thank you for your participation, and those of you who made the effort to be here in studio studio with us. Thank you so much. We also want to say a huge thank you to you for tuning in to the media launch for the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers 2024. And we're asking you and encouraging you to stay tuned to the social media platforms of our stakeholders, where you will get insight into the calendar of activities and all the updates that you need when it comes to the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers. Until next time, I'm Humadi Mark.